Today I'm going to make a lime bunt cake. It's really good, and back here I already creamed together the sugar and the butter. So that is 1 stick of butter and 1 cup of sugar, and it actually calls for white sugar, so I did not use organic. I did use white sugar, and I actually used just underneath a cup because I always like to cut down on sugar. Okay, in this bowl, you can see that I have beaten those egg whites, 2 egg whites, and in this little container I have the 2 egg yolks. Okay, whip those egg whites until they're really fluffy as they're gonna get. Okay, I have approximately 2/3 of a cup of fresh lime juice right here. I also have on this cutting board a teaspoon of lime zest and 1 more lime for the glaze that will go on this cake. So, and then in this bowl I have all the dry ingredients, which is 1 1/2 cups flour, all-purpose, 1 1/2 teaspoons baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon salt. Okay, so I'm gonna put the egg yolks in there right now. Okay. So it says sift together all of that, which I did. And okay, also the bunt pan is prepared with cooking spray and flour because I always have trouble getting my cakes out of this. So anyway. Okay, that's looking good. So on a lower speed right there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate dry ingredients with the juice until everything is incorporated, okay? Adding 1/4 cup of water to that. Along with this lime zest. That's just going to be so good. And then this glaze goes on top of it is just fabulous. Smells great already. Okay, so that is definitely incorporated. And I'm just going to take the batter off of this paddle. So you want to have your mixer fitted with the paddle attachment. I've had such a hard time getting motivated today. It's been just so gray. But thankfully today, I hope, is the last day for that grayness. Okay, and just scrape down the sides of your mixing bowl, and this is what it looks like. Kind of thick because you're going to now fold in these whites. Ooh. First I'm going to re-fluff them. They kind of defluff. You just want to fluff them up really good. It's an electric mixer. My electric mixer is on its last leg, so it sounds horrible. Okay, so that fluffed up really good. Okay, and then you just want to fold this in to the batter. Just fold it. Put it on top like this, like that. And then when you just fold it in, fold like that, so as you not to deflate the whites. But you got to make sure that everything is incorporated. This is how it'll look, a little bit more loose. So now I'm pouring it into my bunt pan. And what you want to do after you've done that is spread it around evenly. The premise behind this cake is, one year I just happened to be watching Oprah's Favorite Things, and there's a cake company that she went through that year that she said just had the best cakes that she had ever tasted in her life, and one of them was a lime cake, and it came with a glazed frosting that you add per the slice, you know, when you're serving it. So I actually ordered that very same cake for a friend of mine, but they were kind of pricey, of course. So I found this recipe and tweaked it a little bit. And although it doesn't taste like that cake, it is really good. Alright, so I've already actually preheated the oven to 350 degrees. And I'm going to bake for 30 to 35 minutes, so we'll start with 30 and then test it and go from there, okay? A few things about this cake before it gets done. It actually calls for key lime juice. Whenever you use the lime juice, it's actually key lime. However, I made it once with the key lime and once with regular limes, and I prefer it with limes because regular limes are more tart and more citrus, and that's what I'm after. Plus, key limes are really hard to get here on the West Coast, so if you're going to use key lime juice, it actually comes in a bottle, and as far as I'm concerned, there is no substitute for fresh. So I prefer to use the fresh. Also, be mindful of your, for the glaze, be mindful of your measurements and how sweet it becomes and how tart it is, because using juice of one complete lime with just a little bit of sugar to make a glaze is really tart. But don't forget, you're pouring it in the cake, so it works. Anyway, also a special shout out to the ladies at my oral surgeon's office, Trudy and Kelly, who I'm told watch me on Kelly's Kindle on their lunch hour. Isn't that sweet? So anyway, for everybody else who watches me and keeps tabs on my videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because I really enjoy doing this and it's really a lot of fun. And I really do bake every Thursday. Today is Thursday, and one of these days, I promise, when the sun is out, I'm actually going to film a savory dish. It's just that it's been so gray and rainy and horrible here in Oregon that I'm just not motivated. But after today, I understand we're in store for some really good weather. So anyway, we're still waiting. There's 4 minutes left on the 30 minutes, and then I'm going to test it by putting a clean knife, very sharp, clean, sharp knife, straight through the middle, and if it comes out clean, it's ready. If not, I'm going to put it in for a couple minutes more. Anyway, I also prepared a dish with a wire rack on top of it, like that. It doesn't have to be fancy, because you're going to actually invert this cake almost right away onto this wire rack, and you're going to pour the glaze on that cake while it's still warm so that it soaks it up really nicely, and then let it cool completely before serving. Okay, so I'll see everybody back here in a little while. Okay, so 30 minutes was exactly plenty, and this is what it looks like. It doesn't really get that brown. It gets a little bit golden, but not really that brown, so be mindful of that too. Anyway, while I'm waiting for this to cool down just a touch before I invert this, before I try to invert it, rather, this is such a horrible bundt cake mold. I suggest that if you do this, you get a really good one and spend the money for a really good one, as I am going to have to do really soon. And my personal preference would be Williams-Sonoma, but that's just me. Anyway, behind me right here in this pot right here, I do have a glaze that I made out of the juice of 1 lime, and basically 1/8 of a cup of sugar to start, and just a 1/16 of a cup really of water, because regular limes, like I told you, is very tart. And then I heated it until the sugar dissolved, okay? And then before I put it on this cake, I'm going to heat it again because it's getting a little syrupy. So you want it to flow really nice before it turns syrupy like that. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this around this mold a lot, because after I take it away from the sides, then I'm going to have to start a little bit pulling it up from the bottom. So as soon as I get this inverted, I will come back and we will finish this and taste it. Okay? Okay. As suspected, it did crack a little bit. Well, you can see on that side that it cracked a little bit, and it always does because this is such a horrible bundt pan. And also, it stuck a little.